Well, American Express is introducing a payment system for smartphones and computers that competes with Visa, MasterCard, as well as PayPal, all part of the mobile payment wars that are emerging between companies. For more, we're joined from Baltimore by Bloomberg Best and Stifel Nicholas analyst Christopher Brendler, John and Dom, of course, joining me as well. And Chris, as we're seeing this mobile payment, share of the wallet emerging among these companies, who do you get the sense is going to win on this or lead on this?
It's a very interesting question, Betty. I think the clear leaders, in my view, are actually going to be Visa and MasterCard. They're the ones that hold all the cards, so to speak. All the customers that around the country and around the world use Visa and MasterCard. They're accepted everywhere. So I think they certainly have the lead. I'm not sure the market perceives it that way because they've been pretty quiet about their plans to date. But I think Visa and MasterCard really have a significant competitive advantage, and it's up to the other players to try to cut into that lead.
Hey, Chris, it's Dominic here. One of the things that a lot of people look at is whether or not this is an emerging business that comes out and can be an industry on its own. Is there any kind of insight into whether or not this becomes just part of these corporations like Visa and MasterCard, or if companies start to kind of develop more technology and compete on a standalone basis for this kind of payment technology?
Yeah, I think that's the key question. I think we consider mobile as like a disruptive force in the payments business. Previously, I think the credit card companies, the giants, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover, had such a huge section of the market, such a huge power, it'd be very difficult to break in. But with a new technology like mobile, there is opportunities for new players like PayPal or Apple or Google or Facebook to come in and potentially take part of that market. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually create their own network. So I think most likely you'll see the companies end up working with the payments networks, but you never know at this point.
It's funny. You think of eBay buying PayPal. It's the tech companies that usually have the insider's edge on which technology is going to work next. Right. And that raises the question, is it possible that we could forget about Visa, MasterCard, that the technology companies, say 10 years from now, would be the ones we're talking about? Maybe they even buy MasterCard or Visa.
Yeah, it's not a 0% probability that you could make Visa and MasterCard obsolete. I think there are some people who think that these are dinosaurs that they built on hardwired payment systems that are the 21st century is leaving them behind. I think that's a little bit of a misnomer, though. I mean, I think Visa and MasterCard at the core are technology companies and have been investing millions and if not billions of dollars over the years to make sure they're still relevant. So it'll be very difficult for them to be I think, put out of the business by some new venture. It's hard to see.
But why is that? Describe to me the difficulty. Why is it so much to enter? What's the hurdle there?
Well, it's a network business, and in a network business, it's not just making a product and having someone buy it. It's actually getting customers to carry the cards, banks to issue the cards, merchants to accept the cards, making sure security, fraud, trust in the brand. There's a whole lot that goes into a payments network, and that's why you've seen the industry so heavily consolidated. And Visa and MasterCard really have been able to thwart all competitive attempts for the most part over the last 30, 40 years. Amex and Discover have their niches, but the fact that you have the ubiquity of the networks makes them so powerful and so difficult to break into. Imagine if you wanted to start your own payments network today. Even if you're Apple or Google, you've got to get merchants to accept it, so you've got to pay for new terminals, you've got to get banks or some other institution to issue the cards. It's a big hurdle.
It's almost like what Warren Buffett says, right? They've already got this huge moat.
Power.
Yes, exactly. And
unless we all end up using Facebook credits to pay for everything. Then everything's out the window.
One day.
Yes.
Chris, just describe to me very quickly, you've got a hold on Amex. Why do you have a hold on it when you've got a buy in Visa, MasterCard?
Yeah, I think it's actually all related to the regulatory issues that are out there. You have the Durbin Amendment regulating debit interchange. My view is that actually Visa and MasterCard, which do not collect interchange, will be okay. The stocks have been hit pretty hard. Amex, on the other hand, I think is exposed not to debit interchange, obviously, since they don't issue debit cards, but I think the industry is heading for lower interchange rates.
Okay.
Amex has the highest cost model out there, so I think it's a risk over the next several years that we see lower credit card interchange rates in the U.S.